Hello everybody and welcome back. It's only been a minute since we last saw you all, but we are back again for what is going to be a super exciting match between Synii, I believe is how it's pronounced, and Icola. Joining me again on commentary tonight for this one, same as yesterday. It's the person responsible for these fantastic settings, and I'm going to butcher the name, so please apologise, but Elagatua, how are you doing this evening? And also as well, Queen Helena, how are you doing this evening?
Not too bad. Had a pretty rough week, but just happy to be doing some commentary.
Excellent. Yeah, time to chill out a bit.
You could say that, yeah.
So yeah, that was a really exciting last race. So if this race is anything like that, we should be in for a cracker. Looking like we're going to start with doesn't really matter, but we're starting with the Zora and Song of Time.
Song of Time is nice to have. I
guess.
Is
it Sun Song actually? No, I'm wrong. It's Sun Song. Start with Sun Song, which is about as nice. Bad. It's a few checks. All right, and we are off.
Looks like they're both going to check the hint stones right away.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's for one of the big changes from standard. Is 8,
that's 8, 2, and 8. Ooh, that's interesting.
And well is courage. All right.
So I mean, there's a pretty decent likelihood that pieces power and courage could technically be in the same location, but we'll see.
That's always what they want you to think, and then they end up being completely different paths.
Yeah, Blitzbot might have a different thing to say about that, but
that is also true. I mean, I've been baited by that quite a few times myself, so. But I mean, while being encouraged, that's pretty nice find early on. Finding out whether well is path or not saves a huge amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely knowing that Storms is going to be available kind of early. Certainly, Storms will be available on the 8. Means that it's actually a possible location for Wisdom as well. I imagine that both of our runners will have an eye on that Storms location, and if it's shallow enough, might just route bottom of the well in almost immediately, trying to lock down that Wisdom piece.
I mean, if it's anything like the last seed, then bottom of the well might just have most of our items. So yeah,
We'll see.
Second hint.
Triforce.
Path of Power.
All right, that's an interesting find. I mean, that could hint to the song, potentially.
Yeah, almost certainly. You'd imagine. We'll have to wait and see what that ends up being. But it's our first overworld location. I think something we're probably going to find out pretty soon is are the power and courage paths overlapping or not? Because if they are overlapping, then we might see an extra wanderer or something show up, especially if Zelda's Lullaby ends up being on the path.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. I mean, yeah. Ooh, double defense? Very nice early find. I was going to say, that Song of Time find pretty early on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess they don't need to, void themselves out after Dompe race if they don't want to, but then, why would you not, since you've just checked Windmill anyway?
I'd actually be pretty happy with that Song of Time find, because there was actually a huge rupee on top of the Windmill. And so if this was me playing, what I'd do is I'd route in the Sun Song Grave first and then do Dompe, play Song of Time, and especially now after that bomb bag.
Early bomb bag, very nice.
I'd come back to CAC and you get that huge rupee, and then buy a shield on the way to Dodongos.
Yeah, but never buy a shield. I'm just memeing.
I'm not on that team, sorry.
Yeah, I'm firmly in the hey, I've got money, I'm in CAC, I'll just buy a shield.
I'm on the team where I have the money but forget to buy it. Team.
Team forget to buy a shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, SFM was power and bottom of well was courage purple.
Yep. Seems like he's definitely trying to do that routing, like he said, you know. Whether or not he gets that huge rupier or not, we'll see.
It is interesting, though, to see a bomb bag there. That confirms that there will never be any Triforce pieces in Dodongo's Cavern, and there's not going to be any Triforce pieces in some of the early checks in Ganon's Castle. So we've already eliminated a few of those locations. They still might be good places to go to for medallions that we don't know. Dodongo's Cavern could always end up being Forest Medallion or something like that. And that's kind of why I like checking the pedestal early on, just in case you get some info there related to an item that you unlock in CAC. But yeah, I still imagine that both of the runners will probably end up in Dodongo's pretty early.
Yeah. Well, you know, now that you said that, that'll bring up an interesting question for people who are new to Triforce Blitz. Why did you say that, you know, finding bombs this early wouldn't be in DC?
Yeah, so we have these path counts in the middle, and those are the 8, 2, and 8. Speaking of buying a shield, I guess I lose this time.
Okay, yeah, no need, but still grab that huge rupee, but
Yeah.
no shield bought today.
Yeah, but as you were saying.
Yeah, so the 8, 2, 8. What those numbers mean is that all these Triforce pieces are in dungeons and in certain checks in dungeons, and the numbers are the number of items that are logically hard required in order to get to those checks that have the Triforce pieces. So the smallest number that we have is 2, which means that that Triforce piece of wisdom is going to require 2 items to get to. However, we found a bomb bag already, and so that bomb bag was not locked by anything. So we now have in logic all of the checks in Dodongo's Cavern, and in the worst case, where that was the only bomb bag available in the seed in logic, all of the Dodongo's Cavern checks would be locked behind just that one item, the bomb bag, which is not enough because we know that wisdom is 2, not 1. So we can eliminate Dodongo's Cavern as a possible place where the Triforce piece could be. But it still could have an item that we'll need later on to get the wisdom piece. We just know that the wisdom piece won't be there.
Speaking of Dodongo's Cavern, looks like Icola is going to DC and Synii is rushing Child. Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
See 2 diverging paths.
Early divergences in the first 10 minutes.
There's a bow on top of DC.
Yeah, it looks like he's grabbing that first.
No, that's a nice find.
Yeah, getting a bow early on also opens up quite a few things, because now you're still like in the Kakariko area. You can get the archery game out of the way too.
Yeah, you finish DC and you get plopped right down there. It's pretty easy to go and complete.
And it's pretty convenient. I think also when you beat DC, it automatically makes time of day, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, if that was like a scenario that happens.
And yeah, Extreme Psy. Yeah, we have one race is finished, and 10 minutes later we've started a second different race.
Oh yeah, no.
This is the Blitz format. We can.
We blitz the seeds and blitz the races. Let's go. Alright. Zora's... was that Domain was foolish?
Domain foolish again. So...
I mean, that's also a very nice find to see. It looks like we won't be getting any King Zora... unfreezing King Zora.
Yep, no Paradox letter today for us. Again.
Yeah. I mean, we could still need to go to Ice Cavern, but there's nothing in Domain for us.
So one reason that we have an early divergence is the value of hints in these settings. So the hint distribution in Triforce Blitz is very different than the kind of the normal weekly hint distribution. We have double the paths as we see a Colossus path show up.
DC path to power.
Was it DC or was that?
Oh no, sorry, Colossus.
Right?
Colossus
Yeah,
path to
Colossus.
The other DC.
and some chews.
Yeah.
So lots of explosives early. That's nice.
Yeah, so hints tend to be very, very strong in Triforce Blitz. And in a seed like this, it's entirely possible that every hintable path item actually has a hint somewhere in the seed, because we know that the paths potentially could overlap, and so maybe there's only like 9 or 10 hintable paths, and they could all have hints. So Synii electing to not chase the dungeons because going to Child and getting a bunch of songs will also route in a bunch of hints, and maybe these hints will allow Synii to sort of hone in on where exactly these Triforce pieces are. A very important strategy in Triforce Blitz is to use your hints to find out where the Triforce pieces are, or where you think they are, and then just go straight there and try to skip as much as possible. That's the key to winning in Triforce Blitz. It's better to be right than to be thorough.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And I just want to point out that Icola found Slingshot, which could technically put Decutry in logic, depending on how deep that Kukiri sword is.
It would just have to be a Triforce piece on Goma if that were the case, because the only thing that is Slingshot locked in Deku would be the Goma check. But if Kokiri Sword shows up, we'll definitely loop back around to that. And wow, big chest bonanza.
Yeah. Bomb Cheese is nice.
Bait chest bonanza.
Yeah. And just as a friendly reminder too, once again, people who might be new to the format, that despite Bomb Shoes being in the big fancy chest, you see they're not in logic. It just like it helps encourage the runners to potentially not miss out really important items like bomb shoes, because bomb shoes can be real nice, especially if you don't have a bomb bag, and allow you to do some interesting skips.
Yeah, in the seed, they're more bait because of that early bomb bag, but certainly in other seeds, bomb shoes can totally break open the logic of a seed, and we want the races to be as fair as possible, so that was just a little quality of life change that made the races a little bit more consistent without making any major changes to the logic or anything like that.
And Matt, the song was Requiem, as we just see from Synii.
Yep, Requiem. Okay.
Well, time to figure out what this this Colossus path song is. Well, we're assuming it's a path song. I think that's pretty likely. I'm betting Storms, but we'll see in a minute.
I mean, could be Storms. Kola just falling flat on his ass. Yep, it's Storms. I could totally sing Synii probably rushing well right now since he's got Storms.
Yeah, I think Synii might end up doing Lost Woods first. I don't know what was on top of that arch, but getting Lost Woods first might allow Nocturne to show up to make the routing a little nicer, and you can warp straight to Kokiri Forest, but definitely a bottom of the well play in Child 1 seems likely. Also, ZL could show up. That's an important one.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it seemed like a relatively small item that might be on an arch, like a bomb bag or wallet. I just saw like a glimpse of a small brown object. That's my best guess.
Yeah, it kind of looked pointy though, so perhaps Magic one? I'm not sure. I didn't really see
know.
it. But we did see that Graveyard is Wanderer. We got that hint there.
Nara's Love.
But
And
that's a bit more
Armor.
useful. Finally, Mido holding out on us and actually having something useful.
Yeah. So this is definitely going to be interesting, sorry.
I don't know, I was just going to meme it to start clipping Icola's graceful entrance into the
Yeah, no,
into Kingdom. That was funny.
Sir, thank you for clipping that.
And as we were suggesting, here's the adult shooting straight away.
Yep. He's in this area, so might as well. I hate adult shooting. I just find that like there's like no like set like pattern unlike Child. That's what I don't like about it. And got nuts.
SFM Path to Power in Kokiri Forest tip.
Alright, that was a double hit.
See if the hint in here is any better.
It looks like he's rushing chat. Goron City
Wanderer.
was what? Wanderer.
So that's
Okay.
as Elagatua was saying. Yeah, that's a second Wanderer hint there. So what was suggested about probably going to have more Wanderer hints because of the numbers seems to have borne out there.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of also helps, you know, now that we have like the Megaton Hammer and explosives, you won't get baited by the maze. Long on the
Path to
ranch.
power. Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
that could make sense in terms of like the progress to like the song, because that's all we got was the song to get to Spirit, so Requiem.
It's a little bit of a scary hint. It could literally just be Requiem for Storms, because that's Storms locked some way that you would cross. Or it could be Requiem for Storms and then also Requiem for Spirit later on, so I'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, I mean, getting a hint that points to Spirit is always kind of scary.
And still nothing showing up on our Wisdom path. And that's probably the hints that our runners are hoping to run into more, because there's not a whole lot of items on that path, so getting a hint pointing you there could really help narrow down the possible locations.
Especially like a dungeon, because if we get like a dungeon hit, then that's more unlikely the dungeon that might have the piece. Which is how small our path is, but we'll have to see. Oh, Bomb Shoot Bowling early on. Love to see it. Alright, well, it's definitely the songs here for Sacred Forest Meadow. Ice arrows. Oh, you're not getting the ice arrows for the memes.
It's fair enough. And a wallet,
And
not
wallet.
interested either.
And once again, wallet, not a hard required item. And having a bigger wallet is always a little bit nice, but...
And yeah, Red did a good point in chat that in these settings, the ice arrows are technically more useful than the light arrows because you can actually use them against.
True. Alright, that's Saria's song.
20 is
20 is dead. Always, and for people who are also new to this, 30, 40, and 50 skulls are automatically turned off, so and 20 skulls is a guaranteed hint in these settings, so they just need 10 skulls, potentially.
Shadow Foolish, so we're not going to be seeing Shadow today.
I kind of
Probably.
figure Shadow would be foolish with, like, how low our paths are, but then again, if there was some weird Spear Zero stuff, I could have also technically seen Shadow being in a Spear, 8-step location, so not bad find early. Getting those Saria songs checks done. Okay.
Bit of scale behind Saria's. Okay.
That's a really nice item to find, because now, if Synii wants to, he can actually go downriver and get some more hints from Lost Woods, and maybe end up at the bottom of river and just run to Cack that way to do bottom of the well. So there's the potential to have a really nice route here.
So, if I'm reading the steps correctly, and feel free to correct me, if the scale is the path from Saria's, because we know Goron City is Wanderer. I mean, there's still the adult song, and Saria's is another way of getting there, but if scale is a path item, that would mean that we would need the second scale would have to be locked behind this scale, if I'm not mistaken, right? For the scale
Yes, that's correct. Or the second scale would just have to be required. So it could be like silver scale path because you need gold scale. I have a suspicion that Saria's is either path just to get to the adult song, like maybe ZL is on Minuet or something like that. With the early bomb bag, it's kind of unlikely that Scale will be path, although it's hard to say. It's still very early.
Yeah. I mean, unless we get like a Hyrule Field is path or something, and we have the Tektite Grotto, which requires gold scales or irons. Can't forget about the Tektite Grotto.
Or as it was called earlier, which is my new favourite way of calling it, the textile grow. It's just so good. And as Matt pointing out, we've got 37 chews in the first 20 minutes, which...
that's crazy.
And 14 bombs, it's obscene. But there we go.
Yeah, we got plenty of explosives.
The Synii has to be a little bit careful based on their health, but they could elect to open these chests and then death warp back to the entrance. That'd be kind of cute. I might think about that.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Okay.
Ooh.
Iron boots. So then it can't be the Tektite Grotto then and not water. So I don't think the scale is path then. It was probably just Sarius for the song on Minuet.
Now, interestingly, we saw Lost Woods, Path of Power.
Maybe that slingshot might actually be useful for targeting woods. Could have something. It's about the only thing we're not able to get.
Did we see anything in Lost Woods other than that scale?
I don't believe so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, some chews, but then we found chews everywhere, so that's...
Yeah, I mean, everywhere we found chews. It's just like, chews here.
Oh!
Spirit is foolish. Spirit and
so
Shadow.
huge.
Both foolish. Okay, that really narrows it down.
Child Spirit, and we know that this is going to get him nothing. This is a waste of time.
Yeah,
I feel the same.
Yeah, I just this just hurts me in my bones.
Unnecessary child spirit and the risk of losing a shield for nothing. It's like, why?
I mean, in Triforce Blitz, it is sometimes risky to go for the dungeons without getting a lot of hints, because the paths and the barons always prioritize dungeons. So if any dungeon is barren, it's always going to be hinted above an overworld location. So the information can be a lot more powerful, potentially, depending on the seed. And that's pretty lucky for Icola. Looks like there's no keys. So gonna be locked out of Spirit and might not end up wasting any more time there.
That's also our first F of the race.
Hopefully Cola finds that Spirit hit and it's like, okay, good thing I didn't really hard push Spirit.
So Synii doing a creative route here looks like is going to end up in CAC to go to bottom of the well. Unfortunately, not having that slingshot, we're going to find out if that slingshot is important soon, because it seems like it's either going to be path scale or whatever is on target in woods.
Yeah. I mean, still, it's just interesting to see how the scale would become path. We'll see. I mean, you're one more to know about this, like the weird logic stuff. I'm still kind of learning about all the logic and whatnot.
We'll keep an eye on that. Sunsong really nice for routing Kokiri Forest. A lot of little time saves that you can do with Sunsong. I imagine Icola is going to play Sunsong here to zip on back to Mido's house on the way to Lost Woods. That's plus 10 seconds.
No, I never thought about that.
Yeah, you learn something new.
It's these things where these higher level runners, how they figured out, all these little time saves.
Quick little time saves here and there. But yeah, no, Suns can be particularly powerful in a few situations, where it just warps you back to the entrance that you came from. And Kukuri Forest chest is one of them.
Yeah.
You know it's a troll seed when you're going around CAC killing the skulls with bomb chews.
Yeah, you don't want to waste your precious sticks.
Yeah, you've only got 4 of them. Not a load of money. Don't have to go buy a load more.
It's a rare seed when the bomb chews are less precious than the sticks. Alright, this time. Let's see what this ends up being.
Kukuri Swords.
Oh, that's terrible for Synii.
That's really bad. Yep.
That's 100% for Deku Tree.
Slingshot for Kukuri Sword for Triforce Piece and Deku?
No, it's going to be for the Forest Medallion, surely. It could also be for a Triforce Piece and Deku, but it's probably for the song.
It's more than likely, yeah, because I don't think Deku is quite two steps. Because where was Slingshot locked behind again?
It is Dodongo's.
And
I'm pretty sure that the bomb bag is
then it'll be free then.
And like you said, an only way for that to be hard required for Goma if it is on Goma, so I think these were chews, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
I'm getting our first look at bottom of the well here, so we might see some progression show up. It's possible we could even see a piece here because Requiem for Storms would put this at 2.
I mean, rushing well without ZL is also a little risky because, you can't see the 2 chest and dead hand because you can't reduce the water, and you can't get the item that's below the water either.
Well, if we are assuming that Requiem is path for Storms, which seems extremely likely now that we know that Spirit is foolish, then ZL would be too many for Wisdom. So I kind of suspect that one of these big chests here is going to turn out to be a Triforce piece, but we'll find out soon.
Yeah, that's just a key. Light arrows completely useless.
Wrong gold item.
God, it's so weird seeing light arrows and be like, oh yeah, don't need this.
Yeah, it's definitely that you're getting used to. The things that you just have burnt into your brain but taken for granted from standard settings over the years, and then it's like, actually, we've changed quite a lot of it, and we've got this really powerful hint system that is so different from what we've had before. And there's magic.
Early magic, always a great find. I don't think we will really need magic in the seeds because we have Spirit Foolish, we have Shadow Foolish.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. If that's the path item, then why?
Haunted Wasteland? Oh, here we go. Here's another big chest.
I mean, it could be for Haunted Wasteland.
Wait, yeah, so we've got Dins and magic in the same place. That's,
yeah, it could be for Haunted.
Interesting.
We still haven't seen all of the big chests here, though, so let's not get our... It's for Rudo's letter. It's for Ice Cavern.
Ice Cavern again. Let's go. Rush Ice.
Now, we don't have a way in there yet because we don't have ZL, but that is interesting because we don't know where ZL is for sure. I have a feeling it's probably behind Deku Tree, but if hovers show up, this could be a big skip for Synii to maybe bypass that required Kokiri sword that seems likely to be path in Lost Woods.
I mean, I could also totally see him going to domain just to get King Wheat off to the side and maybe peek Jabu, because we haven't had any hints for Jabu either. And because he can get into domain with the scale.
Looks like we're going to see Deku Tree from Icola. There'll be some more hints there. That'll be pretty good for him. Really up to Synii where to go next. Kind of unclear. Got some options, but nothing obvious.
I think Synii is just trying to clear out some just checks.
DMT Wanderer. That's free Wanderer.
For the bow, maybe.
Yeah, for the bow, which means the bow doesn't block the other bows then. Yes.
That is interesting, though. We've had a bunch of Wanderers, and the fact that we have a bunch of Wanderers means that the power and courage paths are almost certainly, like, totally overlapped. Additionally, we have a bunch of songs that were, like, unhintable. Maybe, like, ZL likely to be required now. We've had two path hints eaten by the Wanderer hints, which basically means there wasn't enough items to generate enough hints. So there's like some kind of detailed hint inferences that you can make that we'll see if our runners are able to actually use that information. But from the commentary booth, I think we know that all of the items on Wisdom are also on Power and Courage. Almost certainly.
Yeah. Because, like, when you get a seed like this, where you have a lot of overlapping locations and items, it's definitely more courage. I mean, one. Oh, there's
there it is. There's one of them.
Okay, so that's
I
Wisdom.
think that's Wisdom.
Well, that confirms that Synii is definitely going to need that Kokiri sword from Lost Woods. Kind of unlucky, honestly. Doesn't really have a reason to go to Dodongo's. And, yeah, going to need a sling.
It just, sometimes just proves that, rushing DC is not always too bad unless you get a hint that DC is foolish. Oh my god, Frogs had the other magic. Alright, so yeah, the well hint definitely can't be the magic. Then.
With Shadow Foolish, I'm sure Synii is expecting it to be for Rudo's. Probably that Rudo's letter logically ZL locked, and probably freeing up the bottle here on the way back adult so that if ZL shows up available, that Ice could be on the docket.
Well, I mean, Jabu's technically not ZL locked because we have scale. Could go in from Lake into a domain.
Yeah, it's technically not locked, but I think I don't know the exact key layout that was in bottom of the well, but it's very likely that one of the keys was ZL locked, and if that's the case, then Rudo's is logically ZL locked. Ooh, DC Path of Wisdom. So that's super good for Synii because that's going to get that slingshot and kind of set him free. And now with that 2-path, it is a path slingshot, unbelievably.
Yeah. Yeah, the slingshot to get the Kokiri sword in order to get the Triforce piece.
So I'm pretty sure that this means that Zelda's Lullaby is going to be on Prelude. I wonder where these last Triforce pieces are going to be. This could be a very fast seed, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Especially when we were talking about like how a lot of them had to be almost certainly be overlapping as well. It's sort of like it's not like we need to find like 8 different items here and 7 separate items for the other one. It's like they're all probably pointing mostly the same way.
Alright, so I could totally see Cola going adult here. So you get that chorus song.
I think this is going to be bottom of the well for Icola. I knows that's path. Maybe he could get the song first, but I don't know. It's a tough call.
Yeah, that is tough. You're right. Finally getting the ocarina that we already have.
Well, this angle suggests market, so for Icola at least. Maybe both of our runners heading back adult soon. Synii looks like he's going to do child fishing, though, bombing the grass for money, potentially.
That reminds me of yesterday's race where I can't remember which one of the runners did it, but they were looking for coins, rupees for fishing, and like they got 8 or 9 rupees off of like one set of bushes, which I've just never seen before. It's definite payday. Minuet is on Burning Cack. Okay.
I'd really love to see a little bit more urgency from Synii with the uncleared paths available. I really think he needs to get back adult quickly rather than try to clear too much overworld stuff. He knows he's got to have almost all the hints.
I was going to say, hear me out. We have Hot Sandy now. What if we could get Grass Sandy? I know. I'm just messing.
That would be pretty bad. If you put both of them together, that would be
oh my god,
truly horrific.
God, the amount of like changing to like how that would work would be a nightmare.
I think Purple the second Deku hint might have been the repeat of Shadow Foolish, but I'm not 100%. And there's ZL.
Yep, you were definitely right. L, you were right about ZL.
Sometimes I am. It's not always when I'm right when I'm playing my own races.
Yeah, but that's different now.
Oh, and that's a sometimes hint. Wow, that's wild. So yeah, the whole playthrough's hinted.
Amazing.
I mean, I wonder if this is not just like 2 pieces in ice, frankly.
So at the moment, all this trek around the south part of Hyrule has found Synii as the claim check, and not much else. But now this looks like they're going to finally go adult again.
I think it's adult time. Might end up doing Bombchu Bowling, but I mean, I think it's just time to go to Dongos. Like, you know that Lost Woods is probably not path for the scale. Or at least you should have some suspicions, and then DC being hinted for the slingshot. Synii doesn't know it's for the slingshot yet, but should maybe be able to put the pieces together here in his mind. The real question is how to route in ice. Will another bottle show up? Because that's going to be available for Icola very early if a bottle's there, because he's got ZL already.
Where's the other Spirit Foolish? And it looks like we're going to get the second hint as well. And going to go for the jump across strat, which is faster, but only if you get it right. And if you don't, then it's 100%.
I hope he gives up here and just goes adult. Like, it's the timer is ticking on him faster than he realizes.
Yeah. Cola, getting slingshot pretty early on, and then finding the sword. And getting
Especially when you know that like one of them is literally 2 as well, and you think, okay, the longer I don't have that one, the more likely Icola is going to have to get it, and then I'm going to have to get 2 pieces, and it's just you don't want to be wasting any time at all.
Well, we're going to be seeing 3 pieces this seed, I guarantee it. So there's no tiebreakers that are going to matter, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to have like a not going to get decided in the last 10 minutes like the last race. This one, I highly doubt.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Ooh, small item.
We did get Nocturne, I guess, but with Shadow being foolish, we've sort of basically cleared Graveyard. It's not really that useful, but...
I mean, I feel like Cola pushing Deku when he got the sword was like, you know, I'm here, I'm in this area, and I also know that Force Medallion, so that gives me like that extra song kind of thing. Oh yeah, I forgot. You could just walk into this room and just play Song of Storms. I've always thought you had to walk up to the guy again for whatever reason.
Oh, right. Yeah, but you have to walk up to the place where you learn it. I did that as well when I was like playing it vanilla as a kid. I always thought you had to do that. But no, you could just literally just be in the same room and it works.
The more you know. I mean, this is one thing I love about Ocarina of Time, that like this game being like 20-something years old, always finding new things for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, and Randomizer, and also in RTA and SRM as well, just in like the general speedruns. There's always, it's such a popular game, and there's popular categories, so there's always new things being discovered all the time. Like the biggest one recently that I remember was when they stumbled across the King Zora skip, and that's just changed everything hugely.
Oh yeah, King
just
Zora
purely
skip
by accident.
So nice. I mean, it's better than the way we would used to do it before as an adult, where you would have to like go in a corner and jump slash, and then hope you float up onto the ledge and walk out.
I was doing some math on the paths that we have left, and I still think that this seed has some trolling left, because we have SFM path, and we don't know why that is. And if it's just an ice, we actually have everything we need to get there in logic, and it's not 8. So I don't think it actually can be ice, but it could be something weird like all hook shots locked behind Rudos, or all strength upgrades locked behind Rudos, or something weird like that. Or yeah, something like that, and maybe like Epona's is an SFM, and it's for like all hook shots. So something weird is going to happen here. And we also have this Goron City Wanderer that right now is only pointing to irons. So maybe like something under the ice, potentially, like a hook shot under the ice, and then maybe another hook shot somewhere else. I'm just theory crafting here, but I think this seed still actually has some twists left. I don't think it's going to be 2 in ice like I thought a few minutes ago.
I mean, see, this is why it's nice to have you on commentary here, because you know a lot more about Triforce.
Inner workings of how this all works, whereas Synii basically invented the settings, right? Yeah. Pretty much. So
you know, I'll trust your word on it.
Well, it's pretty simple, right? Like, we have the paths, and they all have to be used, otherwise they wouldn't be path. And we have a path right now that's pointing to nothing, and we have everything that we need to get to Ice Cavern. So my question remains, what would we ever need that path to be? Now, it could just be this chest here in bottom of the well.
Yeah, because we haven't seen it yet.
No, I take that back.
now. So could it be the dense fire for haunted wasteland then?
No, I think it's still Rudos.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We also find Rudos here. My brain just stopped
Rudos,
working.
but I think it's something weird, like maybe like a strength upgrade both in Jabu and Ice, and neither of them being Path. Something bizarre, I think, is coming.
Well, hopefully these runners don't get baited into doing really long checks or...
But the stream value.
I mean, stream value, of course. I always appreciate stream value. So we'll see.
And I see Tim Jamalia in chat with the question of what's the difference between Wanderer and Foolish, and I see Shannock has answered that for him.
So it does seem pretty likely that it could be Saria's for forest access somehow. We do have Minuet on a 3-dungeon song, which means that that's going to be buried pretty deep in logic. And we also don't have any hook shots, so it is possible that it could be like 2 hook shots locked behind Rudos, and then it's Saria's for Forest Temple. Something like that is definitely a real possibility.
I mean, yeah, because we don't know where that first or any of the hook shots are.
It's also pretty unlikely to be the Minuet check, because if it were like Epona's on Minuet required for GTG, there's a decent chance that SFM would have to be pathed twice. Once for Saria's to get Epona's, and then once for Epona's to go to GTG.
I only haven't seen that.
Yes, which means it's unlikely.
So I'm just trying to look at the songs that we have available here, and it could hypothetically be Bolero, and then Bolero getting us another song.
Maybe
for Minuet.
But again, if SFM adult side song is path, then there would probably need to be 2 SFM paths, and it's kind of unlikely, given the number of hints that we've seen already. I imagine we would have seen a lot more SFM paths. It would have to be double, basically. It's pretty nice for Synii, though. He's going to finish Dodongo's Cavern, and I think it's going to be a hard confirmed slingshot for him. So, doesn't really leave a lot of room for interpretation.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a nice feeling when you find that first, like, Triforce piece pretty early on. Or my favorite way of finding Triforce pieces is just you don't have a hint for that dungeon, and you're just clearing it out because, it's just like your most check dense area, and then you find a Triforce piece, and you need to go, well, frick, which piece is this one? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. There's Dodongo down.
Yep, hardest boss and Zooter down.
I was a little bit scared for Synii going in there with half a heart and then kind of going against the wall there. I don't want to see my first restream death against King Dodongo here.
What do you mean, like, I ate your pie? Who's died to King Dodongo? Well, finding that DC path, which he probably already figured out that Triforce piece was the wisdom.
So the question now becomes, how long does Synii stay in adult? We know Icola is going to go turn in the Ruda's letter, probably go ice immediately on going adult, but what's Synnii's plan?
Love that he's doing the chicken strat even though he has CL because it's technically faster.
Absolutely. And yeah, what's Synii gonna do is a good question.
I mean, it's got Megaton.
Maze, I guess, so we're gonna
Hammer.
do that first.
I think Synii is just going to clear the rest of Goron City to try and figure out what the Wanderer is. He's got the hammer now and can do Link the Goron. I don't know if he did that the first time around. And that should narrow it down pretty thoroughly.
Wasn't Iron Boots here in the maze?
It was, but there could be other things there as well. And we didn't see left side of maze until now.
That's fair. That is true. Link the Goron trolling.
At least Synii was prepared and had the second bomb chew ready to go as soon as
Yeah.
as soon as it looked like he was going to troll. It was like, nope, you're not getting away from me.
Oh!
Ooh.
Oh, and that is a first strength.
Okay.
Well, that changes things.
Did we get a path that Goron City was just not, also not just a Wanderer, but like path to another Triforce piece?
Well, I think that strength is really likely to be Wanderer.
So that means that we don't have a locked strengths then, I guess.
Yeah, something that could be weird that we may end up seeing is 2 strengths locked behind Rudos for something like GTG Silver Blocks. Again, there's something left in this seed that's going to throw us for a loop, and we don't know what it is, but we know it's coming.
Well, we're going to see what's behind the adult song here.
Synii, put your sword away. Oh, I guess you don't need to put your sword away. Never mind. Ignore me.
It's funny. I learned to set up for this. Didn't really work out too well for me, and then I just YOLO it every time and I get it. So I'm just like, alright, whatever. Yeah.
So,
I've never seen anybody shoot that guy with an arrow before.
I was going to say, not taking any chances there. It's just like,
I've seen quite a few runners.
I've got quarter of a heart. I'm not risking it. Oh,
okay.
That is a really good song.
Yeah.
We know he needs to go child and then back adult probably, so that will help a lot.
Yeah, like you said, that song couldn't be something that would be our path. Because we didn't get 2 paths for Sacred Forest Meadow, so that makes sense for it to be Prelude. We haven't had any Wanderer hints for like 2 strengths. We've only gotten the Wanderer hint for Goron City, which is probably the strength and or the irons. Could water? We haven't. Did we find a hint for Water Temple yet?
I don't think so.
No.
Because I'm just thinking that we could get water access, but I don't know if that's 8, and you do need 2 hook shots now. I don't know.
Well, Icola is running through CAC. This is almost certainly for ice.
Yeah. This would make sense. This is the fastest way he has to getting to Ice Cavern.
Jabu's foolish. Interesting.
Jabu's foolish. I kind of figured. But it's nice to get that confirmation now.
Yeah, so whatever is path, or I guess it wouldn't be necessarily path, but whatever is locked behind Rudos is going to be accessible as adult now for Icola.
Yeah.
Although no irons, so unless he checks the maze here in Goron City before going ice, which he probably will, this is going to actually work out really well for Icola.
I mean, he does have his Megaton Hammer equipped, so we'll see. I mean, obviously we can't think what the runners are thinking.
I still think we're missing some of the Path and Wanderer hints. I only counted 9 total, and actually there's 1 guaranteed Wanderer. So there should be 1 left somewhere.
Yeah, looks like he's checking maze now. This is so amazing.
Ice
There we go.
To power. There it is.
Yep. So it is path. What will it be path for? That's our last hint. So maybe GTG. I don't know.
I think we're starting to get to this this foreboding that you were mentioning about 20 minutes ago. We know that something is going to start getting a bit screwy, and it's coming this way.
Yeah.
No, I agree with Mathy Matt in chat. I think it's going to be Hookshot and Ice Cavern for Forest Temple and 2 pizzas in there. I think that is the location that makes all the hints make sense.
Yeah, because unless for whatever reason we get baited into like long shot for like GTG and Soros. I mean, Ice Cavern. We'll see. I mean, I definitely do believe you guys, so.
Yeah, this seed has some weird hints that we can kind of glean additional information from. The fact that we saw a sometimes hint is actually very significant in Triforce Blitz, because the only way you can ever see a sometimes hint in these settings is if every single path item is hinted, and then also every single wanderer item is also hinted. And basically what it means is that the seed ran out of hints to place in the hint stones, and so we just had to fall back on our last ditch option, which is sometimes hints, because we can always place sometimes hints. So what that means is that there can't be any sort of extra items that were used in order to get the Triforce pieces. So there couldn't be like a long shot that was used to get anything, because otherwise it would have shown up as like a wanderer. So there's no room for anything extra. It's just exactly what was hinted and nothing else.
Just want to point out that Cola might be getting that Ice Cavern hint pretty soon. I think once he gets that hint, he's probably just gonna rush ice. Or
yeah,
not.
I don't think Synii will be too far behind though, and it's really going to be down to who can make the best read with whatever they find in ice, and can they put the hints together? Because what if Epona's ends up being in ice along with a hook shot? Are they able to interpret the hints properly? It's definitely not a sure deal, and Synnii's not going to be that far behind. This little detour from Icola has picked up some extra items, but also he didn't end up going straight to ice as quickly as I was expecting.
I think the ice hint was here, right? Yep, there we go. Yeah, what that person said. And there's...
Alright, so
Synnii's,
almost tied up the
Triforce
one.
piece.
No, he's leaving. He needs the song. No, he needs the L.
No, what are you doing? No. No!
Oh.
Uh-oh. Too late. Too late.
No.
Guess didn't check the pedestal. And so has
No, he has
no
not
idea.
checked the pedestal. No. I think he's going adult. Gonna check the pedestal now, and then
I bet it's gonna feel really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over yet. Cola still has some chances to make mistakes interpreting what he gets in Ice Cavern, but yeah, Triforce Blitz, like, you need to... Oh!
I bet it is. Instant reset. It's like, oh, God.
Yeah. Always check your pedestal.
That's why I do it at 15 seconds in every time. This is, like, the exact reason. Okay, so it's not a crisis yet, but...
At least he saved in Deku after getting his Triforce piece, so, like, not a huge time loss.
And he does know now that he can just go straight to Goma because he needs the song. So I think this is actually kind of a big brain play, even though this is really scary.
Yeah. But I didn't even consider... I didn't even see him save, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, that was such... like a big brain play. Like, I wouldn't be able to think of something like that right on the fly in the middle of a race. Like,
yeah,
water is foolish.
Exploiting the save system and being able to sort of do it on the fly can be a pretty powerful skills to have in these things, or in any random.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I love about commentating these races is that all these runners, these fantastic runners, make these tricks or skips or, you know, whatever goes on in this game look super easy when some of these tricks are actually quite difficult to do, and a lot of them just make it look like it's just second nature. So it's always amazing to see. Looks like bottom of ice wasn't anything important.
Nope.
I couldn't see what it was, but judging that Cola's not going for it, it's obviously not important.
So Synii probably going to be rushing towards Ice Cavern now, right on Icola's heels.
Yeah.
Not that far behind. If Icola goes to the wrong dungeon, it's anybody's match, but I think it's Icola's to lose at this point. If we're interpreting everything correctly, if a hookshot doesn't show up here, then throw it all out the window.
Yeah, because it could be something weird, like if we get up TG to go to Forest. That'd be really weird. Because I definitely agree with, like, everybody basically saying that either we're gonna have our hookshot or entrance here.
And this time, Synii actually finishing to checking the medallion. The medallions. Not that it matters too much anymore. Already found out.
Alright, big chest. Is this our hookshot?
Ice Keys being Ice Keys.
Ice Keys just want to delay this suspense a little bit further.
And there's the hookshot.
That's the hookshot.
So now what do you do, Icola? Now what do you do?
Well, it all depends on what song we get here.
Well, I think it might be Epona's. This is the final boss now. Synii might have a chance. It's not going to take Synii that long to get that check. Maybe we'll only be a minute or two behind Icola leaving ice if Synii wants to rush straight to Forest.
I feel like a shield. Did we get the, like, burning cack and OOT hints?
We got burning cack, I'm pretty sure. I think I remember getting that. But then I could just be seed bleeding from the last one.
Well, yeah, this really comes down to, like, who remembers that SFM is path and hasn't been for path yet? Like, it's just that one little detail, and can our runners keep all of that information in their brain? It's very easy for us, well, I wouldn't say it's very easy, but it's a lot easier for us in the commentary booth to look at that spreadsheet and be like, I haven't used that one yet. Look at these runners messing things up. But when you're in a race, and you're focused on executing the tricks and keeping track of all the hints and trying to figure out where to go next, it's really hard.
Yeah. Because, you know, you can lose track of things in the heat of the moment. I mean, I've lost track of things in Triforce Blitz in even non-race settings. Because it's a lot to keep track of, especially when you get, like, to, like, the higher number of, like, steps. I mean, heck, even, like, lower number steps. Like, some people say that lower number steps are good. I like to argue that in some cases they could be just as stressful as the higher numbers, because you can get weird logic like a zero path spirit, you know? So, you never know.
It's a big moment coming up here. What is this song going to be? If you're rooting for Synii, you want this to be Epona's. But it's on Icola now. If he makes the right choice, he's probably got this under control.
I mean, this could also be Minuet. It's Serenade.
No, it can't be Minuet, because we know Minuet's on Burning Cack.
Oh, okay.
We haven't had the OOT hint, but we did get a Burning Cack hint right at the start.
Is he going to go to Forest, is the question.
There is one small possibility. Well, I guess they are the same length, so I guess it can't be Hookshot, Locked in Ganons, because Sarius has to be on the path to both. So I take that back as soon as I mention it. But this kind of looks like Forest to me, going through the shortcut in the Lost Woods.
Oh, thank you, Shannock. Telling me that Minuet is on Burning Cack and OOT is Bolero. So we won't be seeing those songs anytime soon.
The Strength Wanderer is probably for Forest Temple. It's probably deep in Forest. Only one of the pieces would have to be behind the Strength block for a Strength to show up as Wanderer.
Because I thought Strength would be Path if there was a Strength block behind the Strengths, right? A piece can still be locked behind a Strength for it not to be Path. Right.
Alright, so Synii, I think, figured it out. He was sitting on that hookshot, and right out of there, I think it's just a little bit too late, unless something weird happens, but you can see, like, Synii has made up a ton of time just by being a little bit more aggressive and leaving out that that last part of ice. It's just, the big difference this seed was that Dodongo's Cavern play by Icola kind of, honestly, getting lucky and having really good routing based on that. That kind of was the deciding thing so far.
Finally picking up Prelude, not like it matters. So yeah, Synii is going to be right on Icola's heel. So let's see where this Triforce piece is. Now, if you're rooting for Synii, you probably want piece to be found later in the dungeon.
There is a chance that Synii perhaps skips Phantom Ganon and just goes straight to Deep Forest, that could be a way to shave off like 2 to 3 minutes and get back in the lead. We'll see what the routing ends up looking like.
Yeah,
but it's going to take a lot, I think.
We can hypothesize what these two runners are going to do all during this entire race in our little Eiffel Towers here. No, Ivory Towers, sorry.
Ivory Towers. Eiffel Towers is a good one, though. I like that. We don't have ivory towers, we just built them out of steel.
Steel. I mean, this is a big chest right here. We're in the basement, so this could be potential.
There's number two.
There's one.
So
the question is, does he go into Deep Forest or beat Phantom?
I guess since it's down here, it's probably just going to go bash up Phantom Ganon.
And now this is also going to be like, now what does Synii do? Does Synii also just kind of peek down there?
I think it's got to hope that the last piece isn't in Forest anywhere, because I don't think they're going to do it before Icola would. And
I mean,
even if they do find
this
it,
is a close race now. Sorry.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, I mean, like Elagatua was saying, like it's that aggressive play has really narrowed the gap from maybe 4 or 5 minutes to a couple of minutes.
Shannon also bringing up a valid point. The last Triforce piece could hypothetically be on Phantom Ganon.
Unlikely, because Strength showed up as Wanderer, so the Seed used Strength for something, and my guess is that it's for the Triforce piece deeper in Forest, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And this is the difference that we were talking about. This is not rushing straight to Phantom Ganon, but instead going to explore some of Forest, so...
Yeah, but also what does Icola do here? Does he take the warp, or does he finish clearing out Forest? I mean, Phantom Ganon is a key. Looks like he's going to save it.
Wisely save quitting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think he has the same realization as you pointed out, that Strength was hinted Wanderer, so it had to be used for something.
So basically, at this point, if Synii does find their second piece deeper in Forest, it's guaranteed over, because
Yeah.
Icola is going to be picking that up pretty fast.
Looks like we're seeing both of them go to the Stalfos room.
Yeah, Icola's going to end up having to do the courtyard as well, so we'll kind of reevaluate what things look like after all that is done. But Synnii's obviously got to go to the basement to get that Triforce piece there. The big question is, do you go for Phantom Ganon and try to get a key there, or do you just YOLO it and try to go deeper into Forest? But Synii has no way to know that he's like a minute behind, so it's just an impossible situation.
Yeah. All you can kind of do is hope and pray that like your opponent hasn't checked this before you, or like you're hoping that your opponent is making misplays, but they're both.
Yeah, the thing about that is that like I imagine that Synii is being a little bit more risky simply because it's Icola who plays this game like 5 hours a day every day basically for streams, Randomizer. So very, very much in practice and plays it a lot. So you probably feel like that most players would, and I definitely count myself as one of them, would like be more likely to take some risks rather than a straight up execution duel or route.
It would be a super good read in the situation knowing that Wanderer is pointing to Strength, but it would be a really, really advanced play and probably pretty risky. And yeah, it looks like Synnii's going to Phantom Ganon, so I I think that's probably curtains.
Mm.
Icola got the previous Triforce piece, and Synii got the next one. Yeah. And it seems like Icola is very wisely clearing out the string section.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only one way to go.
Yep. And this is the one thing I kind of like about Forest Temple. It's one of the more linear. Actually, I think it's the most linear, like, adult dungeon.
It really varieties if you end up in a free key forest, then you have to do a bit of funky routing. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward and linear, isn't it? There's not too many different decisions you can make about routing. Good points to chat with. Shadow is way more linear. Like, that is probably the most linear dungeon, I think.
Oh yeah, true.
Entire game. At least Forest has, 1 or 2 potential times you might need to go a different route.
That's fair. I love it when runners make the quick spins look so easy. Where me with my clunky hands, I'm just like, how? Like I know how. I can't.
It just looks so swag when they get the timing right, and it's just like whoosh, kill them all in one.
Yeah. Like if I have Din's Fire, I'll just use Din's Fire after they split up because I just have no patience.
I like this. Synii just going straight for the bow check here, thinking if the Triforce piece is here, I can save some time pushing the blocks. Unfortunately, we know that's not the case, but I like the idea.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been quite impressed by the little time saves, little clever thinking, and sort of strategies that Synii has sort of come up with in this. They've been quick to think, and sort of come up with some nice plays that I wouldn't necessarily have thought of. I've been pretty impressed.
The recoil, though.
Yeah, and of course, as I give them this praise, then it goes and misses the recoil, but it is what it is.
I like how Cola thought about not getting the key there, but decided to pick it up anyway because potentially might need it. God, it would be so bad. I mean, bad in a good way in terms of stream quality. If the Triforce piece is on the third PO. So we'll get to see. And could also theoretically, nah. If it's not here, then I wouldn't know where this last Triforce piece would be. I would have no idea.
Yeah, I can't imagine it being anywhere other than here. I've been trying to think of some way to keep it interesting, but I can't lie to you.
Yeah, because maybe Water Temple with the items we had, and water's foolishness. Well,
Here's
it
a
could
big
be
chest.
right here. This could be GG's.
No, not
Hey.
yet. So
It trolls a little longer.
Yep. It's everyone loves Forest so much, let's make it last a little bit longer.
That's a bow-locked bow, too.
Matt and Weasel suggesting Fire Temple, but as Elagatua was saying, the SFM path kind of screws that one up as well. Like
it could. I mean, us getting the key right here could technically point to the third PO. We'll see.
Yeah, sorry. So I understand the speculation in chat saying like, "Oh well, Saria's already fulfilled this one," but the problem is that the other one is also 8. So if you take Saria's away for the other one, you have to add some other item. And I mean, I guess like you'd have to add like hammer somehow, but there's no hint for it, and we know that everything we need is hinted. There's just no room, unfortunately. If the path counts were higher and we knew that there were some items that were unhinted, then there's definitely potential for some trolling. But in a seed like this, well, it's probably over right now.
That is the GG's. Yep, there we are. Hey, so this is the second one that you and me have commentated on, but it's been kind of short, Ella. We seem to get...
This was a super good race. Like, it's basically 3 minutes apart, and, Synii, I think, had a chance at it, but some unfortunate luck with Dodongo's Cavern ending up being Path, and Icola going for the early dungeon and getting a big routing advantage based on that with having the slingshot in Child 1 made all the difference. And Synii made some good optimizations to make it close. I think Synii was probably about 5 to 6 minutes behind and played aggressively and managed to work it down to about 2 or 3 minutes. But it just wasn't quite enough. And sometimes that's rando. But a really close race. I thought the quality of play in this seed was excellent. Obviously, with Icola, you're always going to get like top rate execution, really good routing, and I thought Synii showed some really good like blitz smarts or some thinking that's new to Triforce Blitz that maybe isn't used in some of the other settings. And it was cool to see those two styles kind of clash, and it won't be the last time because this is only the first race out of the best of 3.
And I do think it's really impressive that even with all of this, and it's still only going to be like 3 or 4 minutes behind, if that. It's really, really could have been very close if things have just gotten a little bit different. I've been really like I didn't know too much about them, but like there's a lot of things they've done that have really impressed me. So it was a really enjoyable race to watch, for sure.
I really enjoy like watching races like this where like both the runners are, you can tell they execute, have very well execution, very well overall like game knowledge, but it just all goes down to just the smallest routing can make a huge difference. So let's see if we can get Cola in here, and we might be also getting Synii in here probably soon.
Yeah, I think Synii might end up just finishing. There's only one more check before the piece.
Yeah, literally.
And, it's clearly worked out as well. That it's like, yeah, if Icola is finished, then it's got to be here, and may as well finish the seed.
I mean, yeah, especially since he wasn't really that far behind to begin with.
There was a race at some point, I think it was myself against Fluflush, where it was a very similar situation to this, that I ended up losing by like a minute or two, and it was down to Fluflush skipped Phantom Ganon for a piece in Deep Forest and ended up not needing the key, and I went for it. So I was kind of hoping that we might see a situation like that here. And it looks like that key on Phantom Ganon wasn't required, but anyway, still an exciting finish, and hey, we got both runners done with this.
Hey, GG's to both. Brilliant.
GG's to both of them. I mean, almost like a little less than an hour 30 for both runners to finish the Triforce Blitz. Very good.
Alright, so it looks like Icola is not going to come join us for a chat, but we are going to get Synii in here in just a second, so we can ask him how they feel about this seed, and not really being very far behind at all. It's very impressive.
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
going to drag him across now.
The final difference was 3 minutes, and welcome to Synii. Nice job. It's a close race. Only 3 minutes behind Icola. Nothing to be ashamed of. Saw some really good play this seed. What do you think?
You might need to unmute as well, by the way.
Yeah. Maybe just give it.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Hey! GG's.
GG's.
Yeah, GG. I don't feel like I played well. My execution was awful that seed.
I don't know. We were sort of saying kind of the opposite. There was one or two that like you messed up the recoil and stuff, but generally we were thinking that like you actually put on a really good show. So
especially dying to that tech kite.
Well, I think you'll watch this seed back and you'll probably feel a lot better. Even though you had some like minor execution things, overall I think your strategy was honestly better, and you made up a substantial chunk of time just by being a little bit more aggressive and cutting corners based on the hints that you had.
Some educated gambles, whereas Icola was a little bit more thorough, a little bit more conservative. Which
there you go.
I was just going to say, which really got you right back into it, and you only finished a couple of minutes behind or something. And considering that you didn't go the same routes either, it was quite interesting.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say is that like an example in Ice Cavern, you got the hook shot and you just bolted where Cola cleared out Ice Cavern and got Serenade for it.
Yep, Serenade, that was it.
Yeah. I was kind of afraid that Nocturne was going to be there and both would be in shadow. That was a possibility.
Well, we had a Shadow Baron, so it's kind of nice.
Oh, yeah. Right. I forgot about the Baron.
I mean, it's very easy
to take a risk at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, it's very easy to forget.
Like, keys screwing me over in Forest, and they would be like in the checkerboard room, and I couldn't 3-key it. No hover boots or Pierre.
Yeah. But no, luckily it was in the second PO room and wasn't too terribly deep, but you made some really good decisions. I mean, what we were saying, what hurt you the most is that when you guys got the bomb bag pretty early, Cola rushed down those cavern with like no hints, where you went back child and was a little bit more thorough.
Yeah, I basically went child like because I got a scale from Lost Woods and figured it would be like for like turning in the bottle, but then that kind of all fell apart when I realized I needed Lullaby to actually get into Ice Cavern.
Yep. And
so that plan went out the window.
Shoutouts to the 1 hour pedestal check. I was a fan.
Yeah, I did not check the pedestal. I figured Lullaby would be on the Force Medallion, but I didn't know which dungeon it was.
It turned out pretty big brained with just save quitting back to Deku. That was pretty good. I liked that.
Yep, that's why I saved the Deku tree, so I could just save warp back there and even change back there really quick.
Yep. Like, we were not expecting that at all, but like it's like, oh shoot. Is he just gonna go back child and save quit and go back into Deku? It's like, no, you already reset and you were child in Deku, and you just
there's quite a few little sort of clever routing choices that you did that were really interesting to watch and to try and work out. And then when you were just like save quitted and you were back in Deku, people were like, oh yeah, it all makes sense. What a big brain play.
Yeah. Well, like we were trying to say, don't beat yourself up too hard. I mean, you were very, very close. This was a very close.
It genuinely was. Like you were literally like 2 minutes behind for quite a lot of it, and really caught up at the end. It was just Icola did that slightly different decisions earlier on, and just got there before you. And once they were both in Forest, it kind of needed. Yeah, it kind of needed you to really just like gamble on the deepest forest you could without bothering about, and even then, might not have been enough.
I was sort of trying to gamble on like the falling ceiling room having a piece, like trying to get all the keys. I was hoping Icola would just skip those.
I mean, that's what happened. Yeah, Icola went straight down to basement, got the second piece and then did Phantom Ganon, whereas you did what we were suggesting maybe would give you a chance, which is just press on into Forest a bit further and don't follow that same route, and you had a chance.
Yeah, I defeated Phantom Ganon though.
Yep.
Yeah, in the end you went there and defeated him anyway, but I thought the thinking behind it was the strategy was correct play. It just didn't quite work out with keys.
Yeah, I think we're kind of focusing on the end of the seed, but I still just watching it from my perspective, the biggest thing that caused differences in this race was simply Icola getting that slingshot in Adult 1 made the Child 1 routing really, really clean. Being able to get that Kokiri sword in Child 1 and then getting ZL very early and getting that Triforce piece. And you didn't have Prelude for a while. And so the routing was a little bit more messy. And I thought you played well with the hints and you didn't try to gamble, actually. Because for all we knew, it would have been very easy for the slingshot just to be on some random overworld path check and Zongo's Cavern ending up being a big waste of time. So, that's how it goes sometimes.
I was really hoping that Slingshot wouldn't be Way of the Hero after I defeated King Dodongo, but apparently it was.
Yeah, it's one of those very few circumstances that it was. But I just want to say thank you, Synii, and if Icola was here, let's thank our racers for giving us a fantastic show. Thank you, Elagatua and Gingersonny, my fellow commentators. Thank you to Purple and Red, our phenomenal trackers for this race, and of course, our restreamer Hell Knight, which we wouldn't be able to do any of this without. So, thank you to everybody in our community.
Thank you to TheQueenHelena for coming and joining us and keeping me and Ella company for another race. Speaking of other races as well, as the chatbot will have been popping up throughout the race, and we do have another one coming up in about 4 hours, I believe. So we're having a triple header of races today, and that will be Weasel, who I saw in chat, and Tenacious Toad. Which is going to be a really good one. A bit late for me, so I'll probably watch the VOD. But
yeah, I have D&D tonight, so I'll probably also watch the VOD. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Did we shout out the trackers? I don't remember if we shouted.
Yeah, Purple and Red. Our two trackers have almost colors for names. That's kind of fun.
Oh yeah, that's really cool actually. Almost, but not quite.
Almost.
All right, so have you guys got game 2 sorted yet, or is that to be decided yet, Synii?
It's still to be decided.
Well, we'll look forward to
I was gonna say, I hope that you take the win in the second game.
Oh yeah, I mean this race was good enough that it deserves to go to a decider, hopefully. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we get a game 3.
I'm really rooting for you, Synii. Like I said, don't beat yourself up. You played really well.
Genuinely.
Yeah, definitely like a huge underdog in this matchup.
I mean, like we were saying, I mean, Icola plays like 5 hours a day minimum of sewers, and is just very, very technically skilled.
He lives, breathes, drinks Suitor.
Pretty much. And so like we were saying, to be like literally like 2 minutes behind, I mean, you can't be too harsh on yourself for that result.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Like it could have been so much further behind. Like not even finishing, like being 3 minutes behind is really well, especially going up against someone like Icola. So you should be very proud of yourself, proud of this result, and just
thanks.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens in the next race.
Yeah, it's not over. You got some more chances.
I definitely look forward to seeing your round 2, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to commentate for that too. And hopefully you take the W that
for
one.
next time at least.
Hey, practice makes perfect.
Get to the grind.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna head out, you guys. See you guys next time.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming along, and we'll be back here in a few hours.